Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam L, and this is Talk with the Titans. Wow, we've got an amazing show in store for you. This show is dedicated to Dr. Umar Johnson, and I don't know what to say, but it's dedicated to Umar Johnson. And this show is entitled The So-Called Scandal. See, this is a very touchy, sensitive subject, and I'm all lost for words. I don't even know what I should be saying for this show. Okay, I was actually very reluctant to put on this show based upon the controversy surrounding it, and the potential flaws we as individuals might bring to the situation. But we're here, and I think this subject definitely needs to be tackled. We need to discuss this. We can't be shy about it. We need to open up. We can call this like a barbershop or a salon meeting right now. So if you're out here and you're listening in, tell your friends to just join in, watch the show, and type in your messages. And if you want to get through and you want to have your say live on the air, just hit me up in the inbox and we'll get back to you. All right? So we've got on the panel today a very esteemed panel. Usually we don't have so many panel members, but we do today. So we have the brother, Divine Prospect. Divine Prospect, peace to you. Shalom.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, my brother.
Okay, yeah. Peace, shalom, assalamu alaikum, all that good stuff. Thank you for having the show, Kalam. I wanted to come on the show just so I can kind of like moderate to see what was going on, because there's a lot of people that did not want the show to happen, and I understand their disposition in regards to that. But I just wanted to come on there just to examine to see how the dialogue was going, and see if I can assist my brother Kalam out with the moderation in regards to it, because again, this is a very sensitive subject matter. Hence the subject title, so-called scandal, because we don't want to put anything in the atmosphere that's not validated or that we can't validate. But I think that this will be a great discussion as long as it stays productive, and for us to give some solutions, resolutions, and direction on going forward on how we as being conscious folk handle situations like this when it occurs. The world looks at our community when situations happens within our community, because they try to look for fault or for error. So we have to stand up and to the front of the lines at the grassroots level and say, hey, this is how we do it when we're conscious. This is how we do it when we understand who we are, our identity, our purpose. So we just have to be very tasteful in how we do things, very tactful, and whatever transpires tonight, which I think will be great. I definitely want to see the feedback from the panelists, because now we got a lot of feminine energy on the line.
Wow, indeed. We've got, we have so many wonderful sisters, with us today. Not only beautiful in appearance, but beautiful in heart, in spirit, in flow itself. So first of all, I'm going to introduce our sister, Tina Red. Peace.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Hold on. I don't think everybody can see you right now, so let me just say, there you go. Say shalom to the world.
Shalom, shalom, however you pronounce it. Peace to all my Israelites out there.
Peace. And we've also got from the UK our brother Isa. Isa, where you at, my brother? Assalamu alaikum.
Family.
Good, my brother. Good. I'm just going to speed it up because we've got a lot of people on the panel with us today. We've got another female energy. We have the sister Courtney Rich with us today. So peace to you, sister.
Peace. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Excellent. And we've also got my brother Virtue TV. Check him out. Virtue, where you at? All right. So we've got
Peace, everyone.
Peace. And we've also got a new sister that's joining us right now, and that is the sister Nakia. Nakia, where you at? Peace to you.
Hello, shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Shalom. It's an honor to have so many wonderful sisters with us today. And as you can see, we've got the panel wide open for everybody can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. We're going to close that down shortly, but hopefully you can enjoy the behind the scenes, live feedback. So let's get into this. I want to know your opinions, okay? I want to know your opinions, all our listening audience out there who's listening in right now on the YouTube, watching us live. So I have to thank you, my YouTube audience, for listening in right now. So I want you to type, what are your thoughts with this Umar Johnson situation? Is this a scandal or is it not a scandal? Has this been blown out of proportion, or is this rightfully getting the amount of airtime it actually deserves? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Umar Johnson? What are your thoughts on the so-called conscious stripper, or her other name, or her other alias is Kim Ringgold? What are your thoughts with that situation? I'm going to let loose my opinions very shortly. Okay.
What is a conscious stripper, though?
We're getting into this. Okay. So the name conscious stripper, according to her, actually came from our brother, Dr. Umar Johnson himself. Okay. So we're going to get into this because this is very interesting. It's a bit spicy, but at the same time, it's very delicate. Okay. So I want to know your thoughts on this situation. Okay. What are your thoughts on the situation pertaining to Umar Johnson having a relationship with this lady? And I've opened this up to the audience, so if you want to speak right now, let me know. If not, I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to jump in.
Can you hear me, bro?
Go on, my brother.
I was just going to say, can somebody just give a little minute or 2 minute introduction of, the information that's out so far? And what's the alleged things that's going on?
Indeed. All right.
Just in case someone's listening and that don't know, you know what I mean?
All right. I'm gonna leave that over to my sister Tina. Tina.
So basically, the gist of everything is, Dr. Umar met a sister who he says he didn't know she was a stripper. That's up for debate whether he knew in the beginning or not. And she basically has put him on blast, and he also had a large donation that was going to be given to him recently to put towards his school that has been taken away just due to all of this hoopla that's been going on about him and this woman who has put all of their business out on the internet. And so now he's supposed to be moving his school to Africa. So it's just a whole bunch of craziness that has all transpired all behind this woman who is a quote-unquote conscious stripper who is basically just trying to make Dr. Umar look like a hypocrite, and that he's not this man that elevates the black woman and all that and whatnot. So that's basically the gist of everything. If I left anything out, please add.
No, I think you got it to the point. So, you know what, for me, I don't understand this, maybe because I'm a man, and maybe because I'm technically an Umar Johnson supporter, okay? So maybe I am very biased, but all I've seen so far, okay, and please correct me if I'm wrong, all I've seen so far is two grown adult individuals who I assume is single, not married, don't have any connections. Umar is married, single, don't have any connections like that. The woman is single, unmarried, don't have any connections like that. And they've come together, they've been dating, or they've been talking, they've been courting somehow via text messages, via phone calls, and linking up, meeting up, and having...
According to him, he wasn't courting her, though. According to him, he wasn't courting her. He wasn't dating her. It was just a sexual thing.
Exactly.
Right. Am I right?
According to him, he wasn't dating. But we all know that there is different forms of dating, whether it's dating via physically meeting up or dating via virtually dating an individual, etc. So there's been a whole, coming together of somehow and then actually meeting up and having some type of intimacy. So that's
and how is he supposed to know that she's a stripper unless she discloses that information?
She didn't. According to him, she didn't disclose it until like the very.
So how is he supposed to know she's a conscious, which I still don't know what that means to be a conscious stripper, How is he
But then,
supposed to know
also,
she's a stripper if she doesn't disclose that information? I believe she preyed
but
on him.
I guess it's like it doesn't even matter whether she's a stripper. Like stripper.
She preyed on him. They're two consensual adults. He's a man at the end of the day. He's not superhuman. He's not a robot. So he never talked about celibacy. I've never heard him
Yeah,
do a
he
lecture
did.
on.
Yeah,
He
he does.
did.
He did. He advocates celibacy.
And
He
that
advocates
Yes.
celibacy.
Well, for himself. For himself.
Okay, okay. Well, let me just slow it down. Let me just slow it down real quickly. So we, as
The
we,
video talking about women.
okay, so
Sorry.
we've established that there's two consensual adults that are doing adult things. They've exchanged numbers, they've had conversations, and they're meeting up to be intimate. And I don't understand the scandal behind that. I don't see
Exactly.
whether he's done something illegal, he's done something illegal, or the woman's done something illegal, or whether he's done something immoral. Okay?
Exactly.
I haven't seen that as of yet, so I don't know where that scandal is actually taking place. Fair enough, we've now, discovered, or he's discovered after a while, maybe during his first physical encounter with her, or maybe prior to the first physical encounter with her, that she is a stripper. That is the way she accumulates her funds. So I want to know, is actually dating, courting, having intimate relationships, intimate conversations with a stripper, is that something that is morally or legally wrong? I want to know, is
No.
that legally or morally wrong? Please let me know.
No. Not
To
to
be
me anyway.
conscious, to consider yourself. I guess
Conscious.
it all depends on what you consider conscious to be. I wouldn't say wrong, but if you consider yourself to be conscious, then it's a little bit suspect, yes. To be courting a stripper who still wants to be a stripper, that's a little suspect, yes.
So what are your opinions? So I want a man's opinion right now, actually. So
All
give
right.
me a man's opinion on this.
You hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you, Issa.
Okay. The way that I see it is within the framework of whatever he presents. So, for instance, if you've got a brother from Nation of Islam or Hebrews, they should be generally looked at least within the framework of the moral values they present. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get what his specific moral values are. But from what I know of the Afrocentric community, they don't seem to be like the Hebrews or the Muslims, where marriage has to be the framework wherewith you have intercourse with a partner. So
Yes.
for me, the only thing that seems to be the issue is that she's a stripper rather than the fact he's having intercourse with somebody out of marriage, etc. So on that basis, I'm thinking, well, as long as she didn't force him and he didn't force her within their own, the framework wherewith he should be judged, I don't see the problem. And I don't see how, if he was supposed to be, arranging funds for a school, why that should be stopped in any way. Do you get me? You can take him out the equation and then whoever, because I'm sure he wasn't going to run the whole thing himself if he was going to run a school. Do you get what I'm saying? So he can be moved out the way and they can continue with that particular issue with school or whatever else they were building. So I feel that, not only do black people need to check themselves in for those that are dissing him, but those that are pulling them funds out and so on and so forth, we need to be looking at, well, what's the real goal? Because if we're going to be stopping, like I think it was it $1 million or something, there was a certain amount of money apparently that Umar Johnson was going to get, and the person said they're no longer going to give it because of the scandal, something like that. So for me, I'm thinking, well, we should be well aware that if we're going to be attacked with these things left, right, and center, we have to be prepared at the get-go that these things may happen, but we shouldn't be letting them stop us from achieving these lofty goals. Do you get what I'm saying? How is one man having sex with a stripper going to stop a school for black kids or black boys being built or established? Do you get what I'm saying? That sounds ridiculous to me.
well said, my brother Isa. So I just want to pause right there. I want to pause right there, and I want to just say to everybody who's listening in right now, if you're loving the information that you're hearing, please give us a big thumbs up. Let us know that you're loving the information. I can see you typing away fast down there in the comment section. So if you've got anything to say, please just type away in the comment section. I'm reading them. I'm watching them right now. So as soon as I get some free time, I'm going to present your comments live on air. All right. If you're not already subscribed as well, I don't know. What are you doing? What are you actually doing? This is the #1 spot. This is the home of the conscious community, home and abroad. You should be tuning in. You should be subscribed from 6 months ago. So please just hit that subscribe button and watch the amazing shows that we have on. Last time around, we had Irritated Genie on. Prior to that, we had the brother Dalian Adafo from the UK, a Ghanaian brother who filmed Ancestral Voices. Just type in Ancestral Voices now on Facebook and you can see how popular this video, this DVD is, exposing African spirituality to the world. So please hit that subscribe button and stay in tune with everything that we are doing. All right. So we're hearing some very diverse opinions and views so far. And I want to get back into this. I want to actually get back into this. So sisters, what are your views on this woman? This woman that has been given the name the Conscious Stripper. I believe her alias or her other name is Kim Ringgold. Okay, so what are your actual views on this woman? Do you think that she is, I've been hearing this a lot, she is an agent sent in the conscious community to, you know, do all of this harm and ills to the black man and to the school, etc., etc.? You know, so what are your views? Or is this just simply a woman like yourself, a human being like myself and other people that, you know, due to circumstances, okay, due to circumstances, she's chosen a profession that she particularly likes. There is a lot of money within inside of it itself. She's not doing any harm to anybody. You know, she's dancing, she's showing off her body. A lot of people these days are actually, you know, selling themselves physically and emotionally. When you're at work, you're selling yourself emotionally, you're selling yourself physically, but you're not doing it for a sexual way. So, you know, this woman is doing her best. She's got a child. She's trying to raise him up or her up the best way she can, and this is the best way she knows how to provide. I'm assuming. This is my assumption, so don't hunt me down right now. So what is so wrong about this woman, you know, wanting to be conscious? She's conscious. She's striving to be conscious, but this is the only way she knows how to make her money and good money.
Okay. No.
What?
One second. Consistency. I love this. One second.
How is she striving to be anything? What is she gaining from trying to defame a man? What is she getting out of this? This is very opportunistic. What is she getting out of this?
I agree with that.
So now, so this is the question then. All right, let's go into this. Is she an opportunist that is here to, you know, bring him down and raise herself up? Or is she just a woman that was hurt and scorned by a man that was treating her, in her own words, as a whore? So
hello, if you offer a man your body, and he accepts it, or he takes you up on your offer, and then he doesn't decide to wife you or take you seriously, why would you get scorned? You played a part in it. Did he promise you marriage and the stars and the moon in the sky?
Well, according to her, from my understanding, he did. He was positioning the situation like he was dating her, whatever the case may be. Even if that was it, even if that's true, that they were dating each other and he lied, like a lot of men.
That happens every day. That happens all the time. So
there's no
you
reason
decide to try to bring him down because of it.
I agree. I don't believe that there's any reason for her to have gone through the length she did, regardless of the fact of whether he's Umar Johnson or anybody else. If you are in a situation with somebody and it's a personal situation, however it ends, you keep it personal. You don't go on and try to expose them.
Exactly. What is she trying to gain from this?
And then the next thing you know, she was on a show not too long ago.
Exactly.
Right?
This is opportunistic. And now our children have to suffer, and they won't have a school because some Jezebel woman decides to give up her stripper body and doesn't get the white picket fence that she hopes for in giving her body to get in the first place. So now you want to defame the man and go on a rampage and make him look bad. You look worse, in my opinion. You look just as worse, because what are you trying to do? What are you gaining from this?
Wow, we've got some powerful viewers in the studio right now. This is amazing. All right, but you know what? Hold on right now. We've got some new people that's just joining in, so I want to get their voices heard as well. We've got our brother GMO Media that is with us right now. We've got our brother Khonsu Albert, who is with us right now. So please, brothers, if you've got anything to say, jump in real quickly, because these ladies are fiery. Take over the show from you. So I want to know, have you got anything to say? If not, I'm going straight back to these women, because I love listening to women talk. So please.
Yeah,
all right.
Hello, I'm here.
Go ahead, my brother Khonsu.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this type of activity happens every day with adults. The only issue I have is the brother Umar could have handled it after the fact a little better. I think the derogatory words, he might have said it out of angst. You know, he was angry after the fact, and he called her some derogatory names. I think that's where he made the mistake. But as far as acting with two adults, I don't see the problem there. I just think that both of them just got themselves into a situation that they don't know how to handle. But other than that, I don't see the problem with what happened.
Thank you. 1 second, real quickly. All right, you know what? I've just realized that a lot of people aren't able to join into the show. They're looking for the show right now. If you're following me on Facebook, that is Kalam SPEL. Kalam SPEL. Just go on my Facebook right now. You will see the link on there to the YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching right now, then you wouldn't even need the link. But please share this link to everybody else who hasn't got the link and they want to watch the show right now. And also, please leave your messages down below too. So, you know what? There's been a lot of defaming. Okay, there's been a lot of defaming and derogatory comments being left towards this woman. Okay, both by Umar Johnson and the community in general. Personally, I don't really feel those comments, because you know what? I've got a mother, I've got a sister, I've got a partner, and you know what? I've been growing up to respect a woman regardless of what they've done to you. Okay, I've had women done crazy things to me in my life, but I just can't call them out their name. So I want to know: is the woman rightly being called out of her name based upon the acts that she's done, exposing all of his business to the whole world?
Yes.
You know,
I don't think that he's necessarily right for the things that he calls her. But at the end of the day, if he's dedicated his whole life to, at this point,
she's those things. She's all of.
Hello, she gone?
Go ahead, Courtney. Finish your thought.
If he's dedicated his life up until this point to establishing his school, he's going to different states, he's going to different countries, he's basically begging people to give him money. And right when it seems like it's gonna come to fruition, she comes out and exposes something that was personal between them. I could understand him calling her out of her name. It's just like if you're working a job and someone comes to your job and makes a scene, you know, based on something personal that happened between the two of you, and you lose your job, you're not going to have nice things to say about that person. It's kind of the same thing. So I think it's easy for someone to say that he should have just, you know, left it alone and been nice and been respectful, but she just basically made him fall like 1,000 steps back when he was right there at realizing what he was trying to accomplish in all of this time.
Well, with all due respect to Dr. Umar, because I am definitely a follower of him, but he definitely has a problem with the way he handles rumors about himself, because this is not the first scandal he's been a part of, and I'm not going to mention his other scandals, but the way he handles each one that I have heard him on radio shows defending himself it is just, I literally get disgusted at the way he goes on and on and on. It makes him look so guilty. So the way he handled this one, just, he did it to himself again. And I'm not saying the man is guilty or he did anything wrong as far as him having sexual encounters with this woman. That's neither here nor there to me. But the way he went on Facebook and put all of that information out, calling her a maggot and putting dates and stuff, it just looks very bad, and it's not a good example for somebody who's going to be running a school teaching children. Would you want your children to handle a rumor said about them in that manner? You would want them to be more mature about it, I'm sure. You know, he doesn't handle himself right when he's being talked bad about. He's famous now. He's going to have rumors about him for the rest of his life. He has got to learn how to handle himself like the Prince of Pan-Africanism, because this does not represent Pan-Africanism at all. The way, you know, his outbursts are just, to me, unacceptable. So that's just how I feel about the way he handled the situation.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, peace to the panel. Peace to everybody. This is Chauncey, a.k.a. Karima, GMOG Media from Miami Gardens, Florida. Just to give you guys a quick background, I met Umar Johnson back in 2013 when he did a South Florida lecture. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com GMOG Media, and you'll see the interview I conducted with Dr. Umar back in 2013. So when I met the brother, you know, I saw his videos online. Very prolific speaker. I was very impressed with his resume, and I thought the brother was doing some great things. I met the brother back in 2013, saw him live in person. Again, a prolific speaker, dynamic speaker, had a lot of things to offer for the community as far as empowerment, things of that nature. What I did notice about him when I actually talked one-on-one back in 2013, you know, I asked him, you know, do you have any staff to help you regarding what you're trying to accomplish? Because at the time, he wanted to work on a documentary. And I approached him about my ideas for the documentary, how I can offer my services. And he said he would get back to me. We exchanged contact information. And from that point on, back in 2013, I never heard back from him. Fast forward back to 2014, which is last year, he was brought back down to South Florida again. I was involved in bringing him down with a bunch of other sponsors back in West Palm Beach, Florida, things of that nature. At that particular time, it's documented also, I have this recorded. At that time, he initiated the crowdfunding for his school, which is Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. That was the first time he actually publicly announced it, to my knowledge, at the time back in 2014. And at the time, he did not have an official crowdfunding site that was set up. So during that time, he was still asking for donations for the school. Now, going back into this year, from my understanding, this is the first time that he actually started his crowdfunding initiative for his school. Prior to that, he was getting donations, you know, handwritten donations from check, either cash or check writing donations, things of that nature, for his school. This year, he actually started his crowdfunding initiative back in his GoFundMe page is up right now. I believe it's been up for the past several months, and he has about 6 figures in that account, to my understanding. So my whole point is bringing that up is the fact that from 2013 up until now, he's been taking donations, and his crowdfunding site just started up this year. So the funds that he got from people prior to his crowdfunding site is not accounted for his GoFundMe page. So when you do that, you set yourself up for failure, because nobody knows where that money is going to when you had that money established. And that's the problem. So can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
We can
hear you.
1 second, my brother. I would like to keep the conversation on away from
I'm wrapping it up real quick. So my point is that his business acumen was not set up correctly from the jump. So he never had proper staff to handle his financial fundings for the school. He never had a publicist to handle communication out to social media. He never had an assistant to handle emails and things of that nature for booking and lodging and things of that nature. So from that point on, the brother never really had it together business-wise. And that was shaky from the ground up. This is why he's in that situation right now, where he has a quote-unquote sex scandal. If he had the proper staff to handle these situations, he would never be in the situation right now where he's in. That's my point.
Okay, thank you. So that's, that is a very fair and valid point right there, because a lot of the times, we as conscious folk, we're kind of, I would say, sort of like a minority. You have bigger groups who have major fundings. For example, you have Nation of Islam. They have major fundings. You have, the Jewish organizations. You have various organizations that have a lot of funding or have a lot of staff members around them to handle specific things. But we, as independent, conscious individuals, we're trying our best to give our community something that we find that is lacking, but we're the only ones, who is on our own team. For example, I'll give you a quick example. For example, I'm here. I've got to do the production. I've got to do marketing. I've got to do the finance for the show. I have to, think about so many different things to make this show, this one show right here happen. And imagine if there was a team around us to handle all of these things. We'll have more time and effort and energy to make one thing a success. But a lot of times we make everything rely on us. So we become, as in Umar Johnson's case, he is the front man. He is the speaker. He's the one who's getting all the sponsorships. He's the one getting all the advertisements. He's the one who has to physically, personally take everybody's phone numbers and try to keep, administration on lock. Have to phone them up, make sure they're okay, about the donations, about any future projects, and so forth. So a lot of these times, if you're just the one person, you can easily get caught up in a scandal. You can easily misplace money. You can easily have conversations with females you would normally have conversations with, is because you are the front man having to deal with these things. And as a man and as human beings, we are not perfect. We are not perfect. So we may slip. So hopefully next time around, as conscious folks, we need to learn how to distance ourselves from certain things. We need to learn how to distance ourselves so we never end up in a financial scandal. We need to distance ourselves that we never have to end up in, some type of sexual scandal, whether it's an employee, somebody you're employing, or whether it's somebody that you're dating that is not the right person for you to be dating. So we need to learn how to distance ourselves and create organizations, and regardless if you fall, the organization, the dream, the vision can still take place. I don't know. This is me. This is my thoughts. What are your thoughts on this situation? Leave your comments
But
down.
what team is going to manage his penis?
Jump on my head. I want you to jump on my head on that one, please.
What team is going to manage his penis?
Oh, gosh. Okay.
It doesn't matter if he have 12 disciples following him around. He's still a man at the end of the day. Who's going to control what he does with his penis with another woman?
Dang.
Whose business is it? It's not supposed to be anybody's business in the first place. That's why we're here discussing it, because this isn't even supposed to be front and center.
Well, yeah, that's the thing I was saying. So he's in the situation right now because of the fact that if he had the proper financial staff to handle fundraising initiative, he would never be in this situation right now. Because from my understanding, he had a $1 million donation from an NBA superstar to get to school. So if he already had the money from other sources outside of this one player, he wouldn't be in this situation. The sex scandal would probably be written under the rug somewhere if he already had the school intact. So my whole thing about his business acumen not being tight is the fact that he never had the proper staff to handle the funding for the school.
All right.
That was never right from the day one.
Up to somebody else who hasn't had a chance to speak. So I'm going to open up to my brother Basim. Brother Basim, I can hear you and I see you. So please, give me your thoughts.
I appreciate it, Kalam. I'll keep it short and sweet. First, let me start by saying shalom, peace and blessings to the ladies, and shalom, hotep to all the gentlemen on the panel. Kalam, I really don't see anything wrong with with what he did. As a grown and mature adult, this man is a single heterosexual male. This was consensual sexual encounter between two grown adults. I understand if you may serve and believe in a higher power that this relationship may not have been righteous or honorable in the eyes of the higher power that you serve, and I understand that. But I think it's sad that in the day and age that we live in 2015, where transgenders and homosexuality are rampant in the community, that people have taken the opportunity to slander this man's name and try and defame his character. So I just hope that people recognize the situation. There's an old saying that it does take two to tango, but personally, Kalam, I think it's sad that people are running with this momentum and kind of hopping on the bandwagon, and it's only going to cause more harm. And I don't care if these people were in the community for another 5 years, they probably won't accomplish what that man has accomplished to this day. So I appreciate it, Kalam. Thank you.
Well said, my brother. Well said. I have to give you a round of applause for that one as well. You know what? I personally, again, I just don't understand the hype. The reason why I don't understand the hype is not like he went into the strip club and you can find Dr. Umar Johnson in a strip club every Saturday night. It's not like that's the case. And you know what? The hypocrisy of it as well. Please, just 1 second, the hypocrisy of it. How many of you lot out there has not been to a strip club? I just want to know. I just want to know. We're human beings. Come on, tell me, who hasn't been to a strip club? But anyway, that's besides the point. That is completely besides the point. Let me get back to this again. I don't understand the problem. The man, as you said, One second. I really don't get this. I really don't get this. Why we are so concerned about a man's sex life. I really don't get it. Personally. All right? So let me know why are we so interested about Dr. Umar Johnson's sex life? Some people said it's because he lied. 1 second. Some people said it's because he lied and said he was celibate and he's not celibate. Come on now. Come on. Like, really? A black man celibate? Really? I don't know. Like, if I was on media right now and somebody asked me, and based upon the fact that I don't have a wife, or whatever the case may be, and they ask me, you know, who are you sleeping with? I myself would most probably say, you know what, I'm not sleeping with anybody, I'm celibate. Personally, you know, because I don't want nobody to be up in my business. All right? So I don't get it. What is the problem? Please, someone explain to me. I'm a simple-minded man. Please tell me, what is the big hype about him, Dr. Umar Johnson, having sexual relationships with a woman that he later found out was a stripper? He first found her or spoke to her and interacted with her inside of a conscious environment. If anybody has seen the thumbnail to this YouTube video, you will see the lady herself. She carries herself very nicely. She's a very beautiful sister. If you actually see her in a conscious setting, her hair all wrapped up, beautiful brown melanated skin, you know, by the looks of her by herself, by the way she speaks, by the way the information that she talks about, why would you not approach her? Why would you not have a conversation with her? Why would you not actually want to get to know her and even have an intimate relationship with her? I don't understand it. And then once you do that, and then later on down the line, she tells you that she is a stripper. Like, you're already falling for her emotionally. You've already fallen for her physically. You may have already done something with her physically. Are you now to say, you know what, because she's a stripper, fam, I can't deal with her? Come on.
Yes.
Come on. Really?
Really?
Nah.
Listen, let me just give my little synopsis on that. Like, I feel like if I meet a brother and I really am into him, okay, we vibing, all that, and he tells me I'm atheist, I'm bouncing, because it's something that my moral, just the way I am in my life, it just will not.
Thank you.
Go in.
No, let me finish. So he could now, if she met him at a conscious venue, And she's like, oh shit, this Dr. Umar Johnson. I can't tell him I bounced my ass for dollars. You know what I'm saying? So she's hiding this from him, and then later down the line, maybe she's just like, okay, I got something I gotta tell you. And she really liking him, and she's all heartbroken because damn, he left me because I'm a stripper. Like, he can't see the real me. You know, it's not how women like that think. They think that this isn't really anything bad, that they out there just completely trashing themselves out, bouncing their ass literally for dollar bills. And we all know, look, I came up in the streets. I know what goes on in these strip clubs. They don't make their money on the stage. So any conscious man is not going to deal with a stripper, period. Now, if he hit a few times, that's one thing. And I still would look at a quote-unquote conscious man smashing a stripper. I would still side-eye him because, now I'm not knocking Dr. Umar. I'm just speaking just as a man, just in general. I would still side-eye him because you know for a fact what you are now putting. You're putting yourself at an even higher risk for sexually transmitted diseases. This is something that you are advocating against. You know what I'm saying? You're also advocating the elevation of the black woman. We know the strippers are definitely degraded. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't really just say he didn't do anything wrong, you know, but we gotta stop calling this sister a conscious stripper at the same time too. It makes virtually no sense to put the word conscious in the same sentence as her, because what is the number one thing that we advocate as conscious people? That's unity, and especially unifying the black man and the black woman. If a black man hurts me, I'm not gonna go online and completely smash him, and that's what unconscious women do. That's what our problem is now, is the enmity between the black man and the black woman. So we can't keep doing this kind of stuff. And if she's conscious, she would know better than that. She would understand. She can be hurt, but she got to just move on. But doing it, what she did, her conscious card is pulled completely. And I have no respect for her, period. And it's not
Go on, girl.
Because I got two homegirls to this day. It's not because she's a stripper.
Thank you.
The fact that how she handled this and how she is literally shitting on a black man publicly who is trying to do stuff for his people and for children.
That's
how I look at it. So if you get her on the line, she gonna get her feelings hurt.
Hell yes. Please get her on the line.
This is why I love Tina. This is why I love Tina. You know what? Real quickly, let me just give you lot something, because you know a lot of people are watching us new for the first time. So let me just give you a little bit more about Talk with the Titans. Talk with the Titans was birthed out of the idea that the titans of the community should have a well-organized. When I say titans, I'm talking about the intellectual giants, the personas that are larger than life should have a well-organized platform to present information, discuss information, and debate information critically. All right. And in that being said, we've got a few rules. One of the first rules is to keep your mics muted at all times. Secondly, is to respect another person's cipher. When they're speaking, please keep your mics on mute. And third and finally is this is a family-friendly zone. This is a family-friendly zone where we've got family members watching, tuning in right now. So we have a no swearing policy. So please, let's keep, you know, the little mishaps to a limit, because we want the family to watch. We want the family members to actually watch this. You know, the children to watch this as well as the grown-ups, the adults, the aunties, the uncles, the mothers, the grandmas to watch this show and actually hear us having a very intellectual conversation about things that matter in this world today. All right. So with that being said, you know what? I want my brother, Divine Prospect. The words of wisdom. Come on, give me some words of wisdom. What have you got to say on this matter?
Okay. That's very interesting. I just really wanted to just sit and listen, observe, and also moderate. But what I'll say is that this is a pretty healthy dialogue. I think a lot of real things were spoken out in this situation. I'm not going to say too much for PR reasons, but what I will say is that, you know, I think that once we hash it out, you know, my next thing is, okay, so how do we move forward? You know, how do we resolve the situation in regards to Umar and encouraging him, empowering him, lifting him back up? And then how do we help manage this other woman who was apparently hurt or who is disgruntled and bitter? Because, you know, being that both parties had a falling out from a personal matter that has now been made public, how do we do damage control? Because we have to be each other's keeper. You know what I'm saying? It could be somebody who could be in the worst situation, could be very detestable, and can even be an agent. Who knows? Nobody knows. But the objective is, how do we respond to that? You know, being a conscious community, people are expecting us to raise the vibration on how we interact in situations such as this. So my thing is, now that this situation happened and we discuss it and we talk about it and it's all fine and dandy, now what are the steps that we take towards resolution? Are we reaching out to Umar? You know, if we are, what is the methodology that we're taking to try and help him get back onto you know, the road that he was going on? Number one. Number two, if we did support his vision for a school, then why does it have to end with him? I mean, if he's unable to do it, pick up the torch and keep it moving. An African proverb once said that if an enemy, I'm sorry, for an ally of yours has fallen, pick up his weapon and keep fighting. So my thing is, why does the dream have to end with him? If we are really rallying behind him to get this thing accomplished, and all of us should be doing something in our own right, in our own community, in our own neighborhood, to be also enacting these schools as well. You know what I'm saying? And number three, for the so-called conscious stripper, how many sisters are actually trying to reach out to her to try and talk to her one-on-one behind closed doors first and foremost, instead of blasting her and say, hey, you know, sis, what really happened? You know, because we know that she's obviously broken. We know that her priorities are not in order. So what are we doing to for the healing process with her? Are we reaching out to her? You know, are we trying to get contact with her? Are we telling her, listen, you know what, going forward for your own sake, because she's a mother, she has kids. You understand what I'm saying? So how are we trying to cover her? How are we trying to nurture her as a conscious community? Because people should come to us for healing. People should come to us for instruction, for direction, for encouragement, for empowerment. So, you know, my ultimate thing is, after everything is said and done, I just want to know what the panelists will propose as far as a resolution for him and her.
Yay. Wow.
Okay, I'll respond to that.
I told you, hold on 1 second. I told you, this is my boy right here. This is the young prodigy, divine prospect. He's about to take over, you know, because you know what? He is the type of person that actually cares for the community. He's not like some teachers out there that is just spitting rhetoric. He goes in, he does the work. Please support this brother, divine prospect. If you don't know about his stuff, please, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, Facebook. Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, YouTube. Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, GoFundMe. Tell them again, yo, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, Ron Divine Prospect, Facebook. Anyways, all right, go true. My brother Easter, you had something to say?
Yeah, basically what I wanted to say, brother Divine Prospect, I agree with basically what you're saying, but also I believe that we need to change the cultural environment. We first need to understand why it would matter to our people anyway. I think even a lot of so-called black conscious people still have certain Christian ideas in their head, wherewith they judge certain things on a Christian moral basis. So it's that kind of backdrop that makes us think, right, oh, look, he done this, and then we're going to judge him in a certain way, or even judge her in a certain way, rather than saying, look, who gives a damn? Let's go forward with the school. Do you get what I'm saying? It'd be like, well, she's saying that, so what? It's like someone down the road or someone on the bus. If you hear someone arguing, you know, on the phone, who cares? These two people had intercourse. We've got a massive goal to, you know, to get them to get underway, building a school for so many other children. How the hell can our people even think that whatever went on between those two people matter more than a flipping school for our children? So I'm saying it's us that need to flip and be healed, to be honest. I think it's the people us who make this an issue, where with this guy having sex with this woman, regardless whether she's a stripper or whatever else, and she comes out and, you know, beats him up on the internet and so on and so forth, that should have been swept aside. If somebody's saying, well, Umar Johnson is not the right, he doesn't have the right morals to be a teacher or whatever the position he held, let me say, okay, brother, look, you step down. There's many other people that can take your place, whether it be another 5 people that, you know, takes his one place, whatever. There's many people that can take that place, and as you said, continue that torch going. But I'm saying, for me, major work needs to be done amongst the way that we think as a people, so that things like this, if they happen, they're just swept aside and we keep moving straight away.
Solid. I love that, my brother. You see what? Are you your brother's keeper? That's what I want to know. Are you your brother's keeper? Because technically speaking, this is something that is minor, and that should have literally been swept underneath the carpet, rightly as Issa said, and we should continue. What a man and a woman does in the confinements of their room, off the bed, off a hotel, is none of my goddamn business. I don't care about your sex life, to be honest with you. Personally, I don't even care what sexual orientation you have. That's just me personally. I'm more concerned about the works you're looking to do for our community. Okay? And let us stop being sidetracked by the amount of nonsense that is actually out there. Like, really, how can what happens in a person's bedroom actually lose or take you away from the person's vision or your own vision to set up a school inside of your community? How can that happen? How can we be so dull? How can we be so small-minded to care about a so-called sex scandal rather than the big picture? We need to sort ourselves out. We need to understand that we are just people. Stop putting other people on pedestals, regardless if they're a leader or not. They're like me and you, flesh and blood. They make mistakes. They fall. They get back up again. But it's the moment you start placing them up on that pedestal of hero, of king, of prince, of God, or whatever you want to call it, you lose sight that they're just like me and you. What would you personally want in this situation? If you was the Umar Johnson and you was caught up in this situation, how would you want your community, your peers, your so-called friends, the people that you are doing all this for, to treat you, to counsel you, to give you advice? Please, let us actually think, what would you personally want? And whatever you would personally want, give that to the brother. Don't try to bring him down. Try to raise him up. Also, with the sister herself, she's hurting. She's a woman scorned. She feels betrayed by the man, regardless whether you think because she's a stripper or whatever the case may be, her skin is hard, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. I hear you. But remember, she's a person just like you. She bleeds the same way you bleed. She has feelings the same way you have feelings. She has a child the same way you have a child. Would you want your personal business to be dragged throughout the dirt and for your children to be exposed to this? I'm just saying, please.
She spoke to her own children. She put it out there.
Let us be considerate. All right? Let us be considerate. But anyways, I know you want to jump on my throat, so please do jump on my throat and let me know that she was the one who initially put out all of the dirt on Umar Johnson. Let's get to it. Let's get gritty again. We've gone into the whole solid mode and yes, and how would you feel, etc., etc. But now let's get gritty and dirty. What type of woman would put out all of the dirt, all of the sexual encounters? I want to crush your cookies. I like the way you drizzled on me last night. Oh, I'm a bit sore, etc., etc. What type of woman would actually do this and expose
a low down, dirty one?
Share that intimate information with you. What type of woman is this? Let's get into it. Go on.
I'm not disagreeing with what Devon said about trying to counsel Umar and trying to counsel the woman. I mean, that sounds nice. It's like really nice. It's warm and fuzzy and everything. But everybody can't be included. Some people are just not meant to be counseled. Some people, it's a conscious community, but everybody can't be down. Everybody does not have good intentions. And sometimes you can counsel people and their intention is to just be destructive, and that's all it is. So I'm not saying that she may not be a good person. It doesn't seem like it, but maybe she is. Maybe she is hurt, but I've been hurt. I don't think that it's right for you, just because you're hurt or you feel scorned or that you've been lied to, for you to drag somebody's name in the dirt that way that you did. I just think it's horrible. I don't have much sympathy. I'm a mother. I would not do something like that because I am a mother. I wouldn't want my children to have to deal with whatever I did behind closed doors, because that's basically what's going to happen at the end of the day. She's putting all this stuff out there, and it's out there, and it's not going to go away. And that he's still Umar Johnson. People are going to forget what he did, but they're going to remember that you did what you did. and that's all you're ever gonna be known for. Like,
Yeah, I don't have sympathy for her either. I don't have no sympathy for her. She
Oh
when y'all
man.
stop laughing at me. She created this herself. She put herself at risk for scrutiny. She put her children at risk for scrutiny. She took the whole scorned woman thing to a whole nother level. So I don't have sympathy for her. I'm not extending my hand in love to try to counsel this woman. So she can go kick rocks for all
All
I
right, but
care.
look,
Dang.
how Callum said, if it was you, how would you deal with it then? If you was the
I
woman,
wouldn't
how
If
agree
would
I
you
with
was
have done it?
that.
You
if
just
I was
got
Dr.
dealt with like that.
Umar, if I was, first of all, me being a woman, I wouldn't do that. I
Nah. We're
wouldn't.
saying if you are her, you have to be her. You can't say I wouldn't do it. That's like anyone can say that. I'm saying if you are her.
If I was her and I was
I
trifling
would
and I put all this
expect it.
information out there,
Yeah. If you was her and you was
A
trifling and
backlash.
you was in
If
the
I
same
was that
situation,
low
you was
down,
scored.
if I was a stank hoe like her, and
Yep.
Wow.
I put myself in that situation,
Wow.
I would expect the
Nah. Go on.
backlash. I would expect the
You would accept
backlash,
what? No.
and I would accept
Not
it.
the backlash. No. You're missing my point. What I'm saying is if you were scorned by her and you had no like other way to get back at Umar, what would you do? You just take it.
what do you
And
mean?
Yeah,
I don't want my daughter or no one taking that. I feel she
but your
deserves the right
daughter
to show.
shouldn't do that. Why would you put yourself out there like that? Why would you disclose that
Yeah,
information
but
and
we
try to
don't know.
bring this man down?
We don't know what like
Hey, Tia.
lifestyle she has. Everyone has a different
She's a
setup.
stripper. She's a stripper. She gave it up and she got smashed
Yeah,
and
it's just
passed,
like a
and now
drug
Wow.
she's
dealer.
mad.
That should not be that black and
You're on
white.
a drug dealer, but look down on a stripper.
What
Why
do
does
you
the woman?
mean?
I'm not looking down on a woman because she's a stripper. I'm looking down on her because she exposed what they did. There was no need for
Exactly.
it. It doesn't matter whether
But
she's a stripper. It doesn't matter if she has a 9 to
how
5
else?
job.
How else, if she's seeing this guy is getting all of this publicity and everyone knows a different side to him than she knows? Because obviously she definitely knows inside. She knows him a little bit more personally than any of us on this
Okay,
panel.
did she
So
see him
obviously she's
did
trying
she
to.
see him doing drugs? Did she see him doing drugs? Did he stick somebody up? Like, did she see him doing something illegal, or did he just have sex
Exactly.
with her and didn't want to be
No,
with her anymore? That what
no, but
different
it's
side
bigger
is
than
it? That
sex
doesn't
though.
take away from what he's doing.
She
Nah, but
wants
it's
to be
bigger than sex
spiteful.
though.
So to be spiteful, this is her grand way of being spiteful. Is that what you're saying?
Nah, it's not. But all women do this. All of you lot
So
have done it.
keep
No,
Come
I
on,
have
be
keep
real.
not.
Every single woman here has
Whoa,
done it.
hey,
Come on, man.
You
Come
know
on.
what
We're
I
not.
That
do?
you can't
You
put
know what
women like
I
that in the
do?
box. You can't do that. You can't do that.
You know
You
what
can't
I
put
do
someone like that in the box.
when I have issues with a dude and it doesn't work out? I get my girlfriends together, we talk about it, and I move on with my life. That's what I do.
Duh.
Well,
Or
that's
keep
Okay,
his
great.
car like a
okay.
normal woman.
What if the
That's
woman
great.
hasn't got that though?
Pause for
What
hot
if the
second.
woman
Yeah.
wants that?
Well,
How do
then
you know
What
she
if
has
the
that?
woman,
she has her life.
Sister
Get her
Courtney,
mind
Sister
right.
Courtney, Sister
Alright,
Courtney,
But you
what if
can't
some
just
Let
say
me
people
say
that.
this
That's
real
around
quick.
great to
her?
say that.
What if some people around her are
hold on,
Let
hold
me
strippers
say this real
on.
and
quick.
they're a
Yeah.
different
Pause
type
for
of
hot
people? Then what?
second. Pause for hot second. You know what, audience member, I'm reading your comments. I'm going to get to them very shortly, okay? I want to know, are you enjoying these discussions? Would you like to see more of these discussions on? Would you like to have more, you know what, more female on the panels? Usually we don't have that many females on the panel. Usually we don't have any females on the panel. Are you welcoming the fact that we have three beautiful, intelligent, articulate, passionate, fiery females that are here with us right now on the panel? Let me know, because I want to do these types of discussions more frequently. And I will only put them on if you, the audience, this is what we do this for. We do this for you. If you want these type of discussions on, we'll have these discussions on. All right? Okay. So where are we? Where are we? Who is biting off whose head right now? I want to know.
I was talking to Sister Courtney. I want
Go
to know
ahead.
that you're talking about that you would talk with your sisters, or you sit down and talk with your sisters or your friends and so on, and go through it and move on. Now, what if you haven't got that environment? Let's say she's a stripper, the type of people she hang with. She wakes up in the morning or afternoon or whatever the hell, because she works nights, obviously. So who's she going to deal that with? Let's say the people around her and the lifestyle, the mentality she has is about money. Do you get me? So she thought, well, here's somebody, she might want to be conscious. Here's a brother, I thought he liked me. I thought we were going somewhere. I was actually going to straighten my life out maybe. And then bang, he just dropped me like that. Now, I personally, regardless, I think it's totally out of order for her to make that public, especially with her brother that's got so much to contribute to the rest of the community. Because when she attacks him, she's attacking the whole of the damn black community, as far as I'm concerned. Do you get me? But my point is, just in response to what you said, Sister Courtney, how would you say that about her? Who would she sit down and talk to?
You're saying that basically how that mainly all her friends are probably not sensible like my friends and would tell her to get over it. They probably tell her get him for whatever he did. That's what you're insinuating. Am I right?
Yeah, in a sense, like if her friends would be telling her, how can you take that from him? You kept telling us he was doing this and taking her on a date or whatever, and then now he's dumped you like this. So, her friends might be encouraging her to do this. I'm just saying, because you mentioned your friends. So I'm saying, well, maybe she did talk to her friends or the people around her, and they're the ones that encourage what she's doing.
No, what I'm saying is that when you go through a situation as a woman, most of the time, you talk to your friends about it and you sort it out. That your friends telling you to go ahead and do something trifling does not give you the green light to just go ahead and do something trifling. You know that it's trifling whether your friends tell you to or not. What I'm saying is when you talk to your friends about it, you're venting about it in an effort to get over it, not to just do what she did. And if her friends are giving her that kind of information, that still doesn't make it okay. Like, she still decided that she was going to go ahead and expose personal information. Her friends are not standing there with her. They're not doing interviews with her. They're not on the videos with her. You're standing there alone. So it's still her fault that she did it, and she's still wrong, and she's still trifling.
So if you was to encounter her, like let's say in the street or something like that, what would you say to her in regards to the situation? I mean, that's just my thing. Like, if you were to bump into her, would you say, oh, you are this and you are that? And maybe, I mean, how would you approach her? Let's say, for example, like what Esau was saying, that maybe she does not have that cradle of nurture that a lot of women do have. And that's why she went out, because she was upset. There was an opportunity, etc., whatever the case may be. If you was to bump into her, what would you say to her in regards to reconciling a situation? Would you tell her to go out and make a public apology? Would you tell her, you know what, this is how you should handle in the future? What would you say to her if you did encounter her?
If I encountered her, I would really want to understand why she did it, what she hoped to gain from doing it, I guess on a personal level, because her doing this, what did she really gain? What is she gaining from this? That's what I would want to know, first of all. And secondly, would I tell her to publicly apologize? No, I would just tell her to get lost, like disappear. Just don't even say anything else. Move on with your life, change your name, move to another country or something. Just go. Don't even try to make any more public statements whatsoever. Just leave it alone.
Bye, Felicia.
Wow, these women are just
Bye,
ruthless. Oh, man.
Well, there's a cause and effect for everything, and nobody's addressing the cause. What caused this young lady to react in such a way where she put all the personal business out on social media? What caused that? No one knows that besides the source. I understand this young lady is from Fort Lauderdale, so they met at a lecture in South Florida, and things went awry from that point on. So no one knows what caused her to react that way. And that's what we need to find out. And what she got to gain from it was obviously the backlash to make sure that his school failed. That was the ultimate goal. We saw that because he didn't get the money for the $1 million. That was her plan.
But just because he didn't get it from him doesn't mean he's not going to get it.
Well, of course. Again, like I was saying in my previous statement, that if he had the proper team to handle the financials, he wouldn't be in a situation where he wasn't dependent on one person for donating that amount of money. He already had the money overnight if he properly be able to acquire the funds through other sources. So again, what she did was, no one knows what caused her to react that way, and it was such a way where she basically had no other ways to react but to provide and blast all the personal information out, the text messages and things of that nature in social media, and that's the thing people need to find out.
Well, I mean, from what I saw on the text messages, it did kind of look like maybe he was trying to run some game. Like, I think there was one where he called her wifey or something. I guess so. In her mind, she thought she was really gonna be his wife. I don't know, but you know, maybe because he was dishonest. You know what I mean? Maybe because he was dishonest, that was the the cause of why she felt like she should do what she did. That he wasn't
Yeah,
forthcoming. He didn't
open
just
to
say,
the
"Well, look, this is not going to be a serious situation. Let's just do what we do and keep it moving." He filled her head with some nonsense, I guess.
So
That's
is
the
it his
cause.
fault then? Is it his fault?
Is it his fault that she did that?
Yeah,
yes.
because let's say for instance,
Yes.
if a brother's teaching these things, and we've seen what happened to Elijah Muhammad, and the rumors Dr. King, and we've just kept seeing this thing over and over, Dr. York, etc., etc. We know, especially for black men, women, they know they get us with women, right? So my point is, if you're wise enough to be teaching the things, I've only seen a few videos of this guy, and I love him. So if you're wise enough to be teaching that, how can you miss this thing here? With me, even with the little things that I do, I watch out for certain things, and I ain't all over the place on YouTube, etc. So I would be watching out for whoever before I step in the bedroom with them. Do you get what I'm saying? I'll be like, well, I need to know more about you, your family, your friends, where you from, before me and you go even in a corridor alone, never mind to a bedroom. Do you get what I'm saying? And one of the things for me is I feel that we as a people, again, we need to have some sort of moral, cultural values. This is, people can try and pretend it's religion, but at the end of the day, there's ripple effects on this thing, because there's a lot of people, maybe women, mothers, whatever, who be saying they have their children watching this brother, right? They might have young women watching this brother, learning from him, and then they hear how he's treating sisters. So how are people feeling about that? So it does seem that there needs to be some sort of moral values that are presented. You can't just present history information or, some sort of liberation ideology, etc., without talking about how you interact between man and woman, because that's what we're dealing with. No matter what we're talking about, whatever liberation movement, we got to talk about the interaction of how the black male and female treat each other. So that particular part there, you can't just leave it out. So we need to really address this issue.
But the moral,
married or
moral
what the hell are we going to be doing?
The moral stat should be on the actual sex. Like, is sex special? Is it special? By everyone saying all of this, like, oh, it's just sex and all that, that's throwing away the actual. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm young-minded still, but I'm talking like an old person about sex. But to me, sex is supposed to be special. So once he's doing this with a random person, as I say, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to anything that he's talking about. Like, as you're saying, it's about family. How is that building any sort of family structure? How is that showing anyone else who's an onlooker, any responsibilities and all of these sort of things? How is he showing that? He's not showing nothing that would help anyone. And that's in closed doors behind the scenes. So obviously everyone's worshipping him in front because they don't know this. Now they know it. Now we could have a more rational, like, talk about it now. Before, everyone would just look like a hater when they're saying certain things. Now we could say it more creditable.
Well, this is the thing, what I'm saying, brother. Like, for instance, when I said, like, a lot of the Afrocentric community, they will bun Judaism, Christianity, Islam, so-called Abrahamic faiths, etc. But I'm saying, well, which of the African traditions are you following which teach you about marriage and relationships? We know people talk about Kemet a hell of a lot. In Kemet, they got married. There are rituals and rules and so on according to relationships between male and females in the society, obviously, especially when you got to the pharaonic level as well. So how the hell are you going to be talking about the pyramids and the Medunetta and all this other stuff? Why are you going to miss out the relationship between a male and a female?
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
the Afrocentric
spiritual too.
on that side, big time.
It's like they've thrown away the spiritual side, and they're just saying, well, he's a man. Like, I don't understand those things, and I'm a man. Like, so I don't know if I'm lost. Like,
okay,
maybe you lot need to know me how to behave as a man.
Let's get back onto this now. So, don't you think the woman in question has a point? Okay, has a point to bring up that this man who you think so highly of, yes, who preaches one thing in public, but behind closed doors practices another thing. Isn't she right to show the hypocrisy with inside of this man in particular and the conscious community in general? I remember she once said that, you know, she has the name conscious stripper and she wears a blonde weave because it perfectly represents the conscious community. What is she actually? You know, when she said that,
Hey, stop that, Kalam, man.
I like to get wisdom.
Try to help her, and then you say that.
You know what? I like to get wisdom from everywhere. So does she have a point?
She does.
We as conscious folks, you know, should we put a mirror to our face and observe and watch the hypocrisy? Should we see that we are very hypocritical? We preach one thing, but, you know, in the very next action, we do another thing. You know, hold on one second. As a community, you know, we want to attack this woman because she's a stripper, but yet put Umar Johnson on a pedestal where she is supposedly bringing the truth, and Umar Johnson is supposedly being the one hypocritical. So, you know, by that logic, you know, should we take some time out and actually observe ourselves? Should we actually say, you know, we are that conscious stripper wearing that blonde weave? Does that really represent us? That we are hypocritical in nature? And it's not based upon, you know, we are trying to be hypocritical, but it's based upon the fact the environment which we are in. We are in the Western environment, and we're trying to relearn how, you know, all that's been ripped away and torn away from us, our culture, our history, our heritage, our moral characters, etc. All that has been torn away from us, and we've been subdued and enticed by the trappings of the beast, okay? And we are literally Europeans in, you know, black or melanated skin. That's who we really are. Let's not even get it twisted. And we are really trying to get our African, our Moorish, our Hebrew, our Islamic minds back, okay? So inevitably, we are going to be walking contradictions. Do you see that parallel or not? Like, let me know.
No.
Is it that sees that parallel, that we truly are walking contradictions, or we're trying our very best to be conscious and be the ideal person that we're trying to be?
It's not the fact that we are coming against her because she's a stripper. She could have been a doctor, a lawyer, a real estate agent. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that she's trying to defame this person. It's not like behind closed doors he's embezzling money or stealing funds that are donated to him. He's actually doing for his people. Yes, he had sex, and if he practices or preaches, you know, for us to be celibate, or he gives lectures on celibacy, yes, he went against that, but at the end of the day, he had sex. It's not like he did something that's so foreign that we need to beat him down for. I live in Miami now. I didn't know she was from Fort Lauderdale. She's a stripper from Fort Lauderdale. They are about their money. They are about a come up. So I don't feel like she did this to try to expose this man, or, you know, to let people know, oh, he's not practicing celibacy. She did this for a come up. And the fact that she is a stripper just heightens it. It just heightens the motive. It's not that we're coming against her because she's a stripper. It just,
you know what? You say she's doing this for a come up, but what is there to actually gain by exposing this man?
Well, obviously, from what I've been hearing, she's doing interviews now or doing TV shows. Like, it's about a come up.
But she could have done that ages ago.
I live in Miami. I live in Miami, so I know all about the strippers here, and they're about to come up. I'm still trying to figure out what a conscious. She could have done it ages ago, but with who? This was her opportunity.
There was always an opportunity there. She could have always done it. It could have never been that. She must be obviously hurt.
But wait,
I'm not saying hurt doesn't play a factor. I'm not saying she's not hurt.
That's what we have to concentrate on. Is the hurt factor. And you're a woman. So I don't know why I'm defending a woman to a woman.
Because
fine.
I've been hurt, but I'm not trying to tear someone else down.
Not everyone would deal with pain the same way.
I'm not trying to mess up what you have going on because I'm hurt. That's selfish and that's immature.
Nah, but that's how women are. That's how women are.
What? That's how women are.
Pause on that
Yeah.
one. Pause on that
That's
one.
the same way.
Not how
You can't
women
put everybody in the
are.
box like that.
Pause on
That's
that
not how
one.
women are.
That's how they said about
girls
me. They
are.
said,
You
well,
can't put
guys,
everybody in the box like
One
that.
second, let me just
they said guys.
Hold on, brother.
speaking right now because we need to have a quick silence. So I want to know, okay? You know, so far we're saying it's because she's a hurt individual, okay? You know, I think that's an assumption. I don't know if she's hurt or if she's not hurt. I don't know if she's actually expressed that she is hurt. We, you know, me personally, I can see that we have that, you know, type of thinking that it's a woman scorned. But did she do it based upon a virtuous, righteous, in her mind and in her heart and soul reason? Did she say, you know what? This man that you all look up to is not who you think he is, and let me show the world let me show the world who this man truly is, so you lot all can be free from that spellbinding allure he has on you. Don't you think that that could have possibly been the impetus? Don't you possibly think that was the cause?
Not because his main talks are not about you know, how you have a relationship.
It is. It actually is. He's made some of. If you listen to his talks, he's.
Wait, can I ask a question though?
Yeah, I'm saying
Can
his
I ask a
main
question
talks,
really quick?
from what I can see,
If she's
is
hurting,
not
right?
about marriage. Go on, sorry.
No, I'm saying we don't know she's hurting. She might have actually done this for a very valid and virtuous reason.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Brother Umar, you know, I've dealt with Brother Umar as far as bringing him down for lectures. He had a lecture back in 2014 in Fort Lauderdale, and it was called For Brothers Only. That lecture was specifically about the black family structure, okay? Trying to raise young black boys in a black family structure. So, when you have a situation like this where you're sleeping with a stripper, obviously that falls for scrutiny and that falls for hypocrisy, okay? So when you preach about the black family structure, you preach about white supremacy, all these things, and this becomes into light because you're a public figure and you're under a microscope. This is the situation here. So now everybody's going to doubt your word from going forward until there's some substantial evidence that you can provide otherwise. But until then, he's always going to be under scrutiny because of the situation. So yes, he does preach. What's that?
What's the brother? You mentioned what he said about the family, yeah?
Yeah,
now,
he does preach about that.
Hold on, you know what I'm saying? If you're talking about when people already are in a relationship and they have a family, what to do while they're in a family or have a family? Has he given a talk about single men and single women? Like, has he explained how those situations should go? As in, you should not be having sex unless you're married.
He does. He has.
Yes, if you were there at the lecture, he has lectures preaching about the black family structure, about single men, single ladies, how to conduct themselves in a relationship, how to not have sex outside of a marriage, things like that. He has lectures on that. So again, like I said, this is hypocrisy because of the situation he's in right now.
Well, that's bang, and he's finished. Then at the end of the day, if a man's going to stand up there and say these things, and you're not going to take the necessary precautions that you would do, I don't know. To me, if that's the case, what you're saying is true. If he's saying we should not be having sex outside of marriage, and then he's going and doing these things. Sorry?
He didn't say that.
He didn't say not outside of marriage, but he does say that you should practice celibacy, which is not the same thing as abstinence.
Hold on.
Abstinence is waiting until marriage. Celibacy is, you know, you're waiting for the right person or the right situation. So he does preach celibacy. He does.
That is correct. Yes.
He's not being. That's not fair.
I just want to get some confirmation on, because the brother just said something now, the sister saying something. Right. Let me try and get this clear. He doesn't actually go out there and say you shouldn't have sex outside of marriage. He doesn't say that, right?
He preaches celibacy. He has a video. There's one video in particular where he talks about women being promiscuous, and he says, and I'm paraphrasing because I've only seen it a couple of times. he says that when you as a woman have sex with multiple men, you're taking on their spirit or their essence, right? And that when you do that, basically after a amount of time, because you're taking on so much from a man, you're going to like go crazy. You're going to end up being unbalanced, and you're not going to be able to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish as a black woman. So he says that sometimes as a woman, you need to, shut down and not have sex with anybody. That's not the same as saying wait till you're married and wait for your husband, but it is saying that you should, abstain to a certain extent.
Okay, so in this information already. It's either one or two things. Either the brother is given a teaching and saying, well, although he can't hold to the teaching he's given, he would still like other people to take it on board. Kind of like somebody who's a smoker already, but they want to advise people who maybe just started smoking or people who are potential smokers to not smoke, but it's hard for him to give up. Or he's a blatant hypocrite. Now, which one, Sister Courtney, would you say he is? Because at the end of the day, this is new information to me, what you're saying.
I can't sit here and say what he is. I don't know the context of what went down with that one female. I don't know. He could have had sex with her and not have had sex in 3 years. I don't know. So I can't say that he's just a hypocrite because he had sex that I know of with one individual. I don't know what their interaction was. He could have had a moment of weakness. We are human. We all do. So I can't judge him based on that. I don't know. It's not right what he did. I'm not saying that it's the most moral, upstanding thing. But at the end of the day, it's not like, as far as I know, there's a whole bunch of other women that's coming out saying that he had sex with all of them. It's one person who exposed him.
Okay. All right. And now, real quickly, I just want to say this. How, should we actually be taking advice from a man who is not married, who is not with a woman, on how we should run a family?
That's a good
That's a question.
That's a good question.
I'm going to put out there. But before anybody actually goes to answer that question, all right, I have the beautiful sister, with me right now, giving me some feedback, giving me some talk. So she's listening right now, and she's saying right now, so she wants to get her voice across. And this is the conscious stripper, okay? She says here, I would ask that people, first and foremost, gather all the facts, perceive those facts, and then come to an unbiased conclusion. And no, she's not hurt. I'm not a hurt woman. That's what she said. So I just want to put out there real quickly.
No problem giving us all those facts.
Because I believe that, since this show is technically dedicated, to her and the brother Dr. Umar Johnson, I actually feel that it was imperative that her voice actually be heard. But she's listening in right now. But she just wants to say that, so far, a lot of what's being said, in her own words, is misinformation being presented as facts. And she's totally disappointed with that. And she would like that the people to first and foremost gather all the facts, perceive those facts, and then come to an unbiased conclusion. All right? So I'm just going to put that out there for you, for the listening audience, for the audience listening. I think there is so much more that we can be going in on this. And it would be a great pleasure to actually have the sister on the show to actually be clearing up a lot of this information that's going on. And I know the sister is going to be doing a question and answer on the radio very soon. Okay, so you have to keep updated with that. I'm actually going to drop that information in the description box after the show is finished when she's going to be doing a question and answer, because I think for the audience members out there, I think it's actually very important that you have all the information. I hate when we only hear one side of the equation and we don't hear the second side of the equation, or we're just simply hearing hearsay. So let's actually get into the know and make informed decisions based upon the facts itself. So back to that. Should we actually be taking advice? We're closing up very soon, very, very soon. So I'm going to be answering all the last comments on the YouTube section. But should we be taking advice from a man who is not married and hasn't proven that he can run a family institute or family house?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
I
not.
don't think so
So
either.
this question, every single body on this panel, I want you to answer this question.
I mean, have
No.
y'all actually seen his relationship lecture? It's very, very, very good, and he has very, awesome points that he makes. I think we all can apply them to our lives, married or single. So,
I would say possibly we can, because even if someone hasn't been in a family relationship or produced a family, or etc., he possibly comes from one. Do you get what I'm saying? So if he's come from a family structure which may have been good, whether it be grandparents, whatever, however, and then they've studied and they've been around people who've had that structure, even though they've never had it, some people can assimilate that and present it to other people better than people who are actually in the relationship itself. So it's possible. It can be beneficial.
I agree with Issa.
For me, there's nothing better than wisdom. So when you provide suggestions as far as how to build a black family structure, how to maintain a household and raise your children, and you yourself are single and you have children out of wedlock, you have children who you have different baby mothers, that to me you're offering suggestions. And since you don't live that life, for me, I'm just basically going to take that information with a grain of salt. Yes, you can provide some good suggestions, but that's not wisdom speaking. So I don't, I've been to his lecture in terms of his talking about the black family structure, and there's some great suggestions, but I'm looking at this brother like, okay, you're not married, so you're going by what you think is good, some good ideas, but it hasn't been proven because you haven't walked that fire yourself. So for me, I would take it as a grain of salt.
I don't agree.
I would actually appreciate his advice. I don't think it's if you're married or not. I don't think that's a barometer to judge a person, because we're talking about human nature. We're talking about psychology and sociology of people, and he's trained in those arts, being able to study those things. So I wouldn't judge him based on his personal experiences, as more so as his professional ability.
What I would say is that I would actually look at the people that he has counseled, right? So if let's say he's given great suggestions, and then we look at the people he's counseling who are in family structures, who have had issues, and the issues got resolved as a means of him counseling them, as a means of him instructing them and advising them, I think that we can look at that and say, okay, you know what, even though he may not have one himself, when he gets involved in assisting people, when they have relationship situations and things improve, then we can eat the meat and maybe spit out the bone. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we have to use our own discernment to say, okay, you know what, this information is good, I'll apply and see if it works. Or if you say, you know what, he's not in a relationship or a marriage, he doesn't know, then you kick it out. I think we should use discretion and discernment. But also, I would say, since he is a psychologist, if he has counseled anybody and things have improved from that counseling sessions, I would say that we can use that to see whether or not he's really effective in what it is that he's preaching.
I agree.
All right, thank you very much. You know what? We're literally getting to the end of the show, and before we get to the end of the show, I've got a few announcements prior. So, a lot of you know that he's trying to actually raise, funds for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey school, and he's got a GoFundMe page. Please, I need somebody to let me know. Can you see this page visible on your screen?
Yes, we see it, Kalam.
Excellent. So he's got a GoFundMe page to build, to purchase, to buy, to run the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey St. Paul's school. So I'm actually imploring you, whether you like the guy, you love him, you hate him, you're his biggest fan or not, I would actually implore you to please, like, hit that donate button right here. Donate now and go fund the brother. You know what? Because it's a righteous cause that he has got to build. You know what? To be honest with you, I don't know if it is the first, but so far it seems to me like the most iconic school of this generation to be built in the Western world, in America. And I think it's a wonderful idea. You know what? for this to take place. A lot of people have different ideas to go with it, how it should be implemented, how it should be run, you know what, that we should start small, etc., and then build up for the school. But I think this brother's vision, this brother's passion, and this brother's momentum should definitely be funded. And I definitely think that you should hit that GoFundMe button and donate to the brother. It is for a worthy cause after all. And that's that I have on that situation itself. You know, and also if you haven't already, you're watching this program, you know, for the very first time, you know, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. We're gonna definitely have, you know what, discussions like this again. If you want these types of discussions, okay, let me know if you want these types of discussions. We'll definitely have some of these discussions again. I think they're definitely needed. They're definitely healthy, and we're definitely having an opportunity, an even platform to voice our opinions. Usually, you know what, we watch the YouTube channels and it's just the leaders, the teachers that get the opportunity to actually speak. But you know what, it's not just about the leaders, it's not just about the teachers, it's about the community itself. And that's what I'm more interested in. I'm more interested in, you know, trying to boost up the leaders themselves, but it's trying to boost up you, the individuals out there that love watching these programs, that love listening to these conscious radio shows on Blog Talk, watching these conscious shows on YouTube, such as Sun Netta TV, such as Nasi Yashjovel with his Shromi, you know, forgive me, you know, all these wonderful. Hit it.
Shamre Hatara.
Shamre Hatara. There you go. I told you my Hebrew is slacking these days. I need to get it back up. All right. Or should I say my correct me again. My Kadesh Lashon. Correct me.
Lashawan Kwadesh.
There we go. I need to get it back up. So you know what? Yeah. If you love watching these things, please, like, let's all get together. We can all hang out. We can all have these dialogues. We can all have these conversations. You know, and even off air as well. I might have to start extending it to the off air so we can all have our say as well. You know what? Really and truly, I should be finished. But if you're loving it so far, give me a big thumbs up. Let me know you're liking the information, and let's just run down. Let's wind it down. So I want to know from you guys, how can we prevent, circumvent, slow down any future scandals, you know, so-called scandals, because I still can't see the scandal in this. So any future so-called scandals, how can we now prevent this? I want everybody to give me one thing. How can we prevent these scandals, so-called scandals, from ever arising again? And that is advice to give to our leaders, first and foremost. And I want you to give me advice. How can we prevent this as a community from ever rising up again? So starting off on my left-hand side, I'm going to say my brother Honsu, Albert. How can we prevent this from ever occurring again, scandals in general, from a leader perspective and a community perspective? Okay, my brother is just staying quiet. So I'm going to open that up to my brother Basim. Basim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Kalam. I would just say we have to be mindful of our actions and try and be aware of our surroundings and try and remember that if you're going to be a leader in the community and you're going to be in the public, you know, in the limelight, that, you know, there's people that are watching and they are definitely waiting for you to possibly slip up, and so they can take opportunity of that. And, yeah, I would say just, you know, be aware, be alert of your surroundings.
Thank you. That was wonderful. We've got here our sister Courtney. Any advice you would give?
I'm sorry, I can't really hear you that well.
Okay, so I'm going to try to speak as loud as possible. Any advice you would give to our community members and to our leaders to avoid any future so-called scandals?
I think respect. I think had it been a situation where he respected her enough to be honest with her, and she respected him enough to not expose him, that none of this would have happened. So I think it starts with respect. You respect people, you respect who they are, you don't take advantage, you don't lie. Respect.
Thank you. RESPCT. That's all we need is a bit of respect in the community, definitely. My brother, GMOG.
Yeah, real quick. So it's a lot of situations where you can avoid this, but I just want to harp on the fact that being mindful, being cognizant of your surroundings, understanding that you're in the public eye and every move you make, you're under a microscope. So things like this, even if you are at a lecture and say you're at a book signing and someone is in a line waiting for Dr. Umar to sign their books and all of a sudden he leaves, that could be right on social media saying, okay, Dr. Umar left because he didn't sign my book. So you got to be cognizant and mindful of your environment. But I want to go back to what I was saying before about hiring the right people to handle things that you are less privy to, such as raising funds for your school. There should have been accountants on deck. There should have been a financial advisor on deck. Otherwise, he would not be in a situation where he would be depending on one source for all of this money. So again, you got to be mindful, you got to be cognizant, but you also got to hire the right staff to take care of your ultimate goal, which is trying to build a school for young black boys.
Thank you very much. And you know what? If you're there, you're watching right now, and you're actually loving this information, and you know that your friends would actually love this information as well, please, just go down below. There is a share button. There's a share button that will link it up to the Facebook, to your Twitter, to your Google Plus, to your Pinterest, even to everywhere basically. So whichever one that you're on the most, just hit it up. Just hit the share button for Facebook. Let Facebook know that you've been watching this show and it was an amazing show. Well, actually, be truthful. Tell us what you think about this show and share it to your friends. Share it via Google, share it via YouTube, and let's get this discussion going on. Let's continue this discussion, because I'm sure as soon as we go off air, we're going to continue this discussion on till the early hours of the morning till we get everything clarified. So yeah, we've got our brother Jason who's just joined us. I'm not too sure if you're available to speak, but what advice would you give to the conscious community in general and to our leaders to avoid so-called scandals like this?
Peace, everybody. I mean, the only thing I can say is to make sure that you definitely have an administrative team that is able to filter out these types of things. I think he definitely should have had his administrative staff on deck whenever he's going through any type of encounter with anybody, whether it's casual or business. And I think that's one thing that I think he should have done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Keep your lights just moving down right now. Let's take a quick break. You know what? If I remember correctly, my brother Nasi was telling me that he's got a show coming up. You know what? I'm just talking. Anyway, you know what?
I want to chime in on that.
Oh, okay. So there is a show coming up.
No, I had put a quick message on the side group chat. Just to give that announcement. They had asked me to give it. So on this Sunday, there's going to be an event called A Mother's Intuition. And what it is that it's geared towards the mothers that are out there, the women that are out there, and what the Hebrew Israelite community is doing is they're catering to them on that day. So they have spa, small little spa thing that was going on. They have a wedding ceremony that's being conducted. They have a special guest on there that's going to be speaking on specific matters in regards to relationships and marriage and so forth. So if anybody is in New York City, that's going to be available in the Harlem area on 125th Street, Madison. Fifth Avenue by the Black National Theater. The event starts about 3 p.m. You can definitely come in. I believe the sale price at the door is $20, if I'm not mistaken, and come in and just sit down and be treated, because they want to cater to specifically the women. Men can show up too if they want, but this is also specifically to the women. So there's special speakers that's going to be there. It's going to be Minister Inky, Abundance Child, Nazi Ashafel, Hashar. I'll be there as well. So a couple of us are going to be there. We're going to be giving things out to the people and just trying to raise the level of empowerment for the women that are out there in the communities. And if you guys would like, you can come join us at 3 p.m. the Black National Theater on this Sunday coming up. Yes, that's it right there.
Cool. Kalam.
Kalam? Kalam?
I think we might have lost.
Oh, my bad, my bad. My mic was muted. Thank the good Lord. Okay, so we're gonna just keep this up on the screen for a little bit longer, so our audience members can actually see this, can take it in, screenshot this. Where can we actually find this flyer if we wanted more information?
Well, the flyer is going to be on several people's pages. So it'll be on Nazi's page. It'll be on my page. It'll be on Zion Lex. It'll be on his page. Minister Inky will be on his page. Abundance Child should be on her page. So you can contact one of us. We can give you the details if you have any questions or concerns in regards to that. Definitely reach out to me on Facebook, Ron Divine Prospect, and I'll be more than happy to update you or give you any details in regards to that. And we're also going to be giving a special shout out to Kalam SPL because he's been really supporting the community, and we appreciate him allowing some time on his platform for us to bring this information to the people. So definitely when you guys come out there, you're definitely going to hear a special shout out to Kalam for always doing a great job of being unbiased and objective and getting the information out to the people.
I love my brother. Thank you very much. And if you would like to advertise on the platform as well, on this platform, Talk with the Titans, Titans TV, let me know. And I'll definitely, just like right now, I'll put out your information and let the conscious community know. So yeah, Divine, let me know, what advice would you give?
You jumped right to me. I was trying to calculate what I was going to say as you went through the panel members.
You're right. No. I want advice right now because we at the band maybe 1, 2, 3. 3 goes. No, I need the outspoken, the fiery, the eye-pleasing Sister Nakia to actually go in. Give us your advice. What advice? And you know it's going to be a very heated words. So what is your advice right now?
What advice would I give the community, the black community, the conscious community? In terms of
and a conscious leader.
The black
and
community,
a conscious leader.
Yes.
Well, what the advice I would give to my community as a whole would be to not be so sexually driven, or lustful, and lead with what you see on the outward appearance. A lot of us are very driven, or I don't know, just caught up into looks, and how a person may present themselves, because she was able to fool him into thinking she wasn't a stripper. So my advice would be to just look at people with your spiritual eyes, not so much with your natural eyes. And as a leader, I would say to just, a conscious leader, I would say to just take things one day at a time, not to get caught up in the hype or to accept people's praises, to be humbled and know that you are still human, and to just focus on the ultimate goal at hand and not to, fall victim to the distractions or temptations that may come your way. That would be my advice to a leader.
Excellent. Thank you.
Don't call me fiery. I'm not that fiery either. Don't call me.
Now she's a nuclear bomb.
Ooh. I didn't mute you. Okay, cool. So, Divine, jump in.
I think this was a great discussion. Even though we had some extremes, we had some balance. I think that everybody in here made a great point, and I think we represent the whole of the community in regards to what people are saying regarding the situation. I would say in regards to the interface, I would say that you know, at the end of the day, me personally, because I'm about healing the community, right? So me personally, I would say that we all have to be honest that we all are not perfect, you know, and at any given time, any one of us could be involved in a scandal, whether it is valid, whether it's not valid. You know what I'm saying? People can speak about us in public because of something personal that occurred, or we may be upset with somebody and say something, or even be on camera while we're speaking out on something and don't realize that we was in the heat of the moment. So we all have a weakness and vulnerabilities, and we have to really be honest with ourselves to say, you know what, I'm not perfect, and let people know that, hey, you know what, I'm not perfect, and being that I'm not perfect, I will be, you know, I will make mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? And not to promote themselves as being somebody that don't have error, that doesn't have flaws. And I think if we wean away from that and say, listen, you know what, I'm on this journey just like you. I'm on a journey of healing, of understanding, of enlightenment, and let people know that you are like them. You know what I'm saying? I think that you would have less scrutiny because people won't put you on such a high pedestal. And I think that we need to really work on interfacing with each other as socially. Like we mentioned earlier, you know, Issa made a great point about it. A couple of people did, is that we have to learn how to interface with each other more dynamically than what we're doing right now, you know, because, you know, this is an example of somebody in the conscious community interfacing with somebody in the unconscious community, and this can be the results. You know, it's blowback on both ends, you know, and it's just like not really good damage control in this case scenario. So I think we have to be honest with ourselves first and foremost, then be honest with other people. Just keep it real at the end of the day, and always work towards healing each other, because I think that opportunity that occurred should have been an opportunity for Umar. I would say Umar more so, for him to conduct healing on this person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not judging him for whatever decisions he made. That's his business. He's an adult. But what I'm saying is that being that this is his line of profession, this is what his bread and butter, I think that, you know, and again, I don't know all the details, but I'm just thinking that it should have been driven in that direction. And if anything transpired, you know, aside from that, that's fine. But I think that, you know, he could have focused more on the healing aspect of this woman that he was interfacing with more so than anything else. And I think that even if things did fall apart, they can see that he at least made an attempt to try and heal her or speak to you know, her condition or whatever it is that she was going through. You know what I'm saying? Being that she's also a single parent. So that's all I have to say. And I just want to thank Kalam for allowing me to speak. I want to thank all the panelists for coming on the line, because y'all made this show very interesting. And definitely support my brother Kalam SPL.
Thank you so much, my brother Divine. I think he actually might be my brother from another mother somehow. And you know what? If you haven't actually checked out my Patreon page, please actually check out the Patreon page. And if you're not familiar with Patreon, Patreon is basically a place that, you know what, as a content creator, we create wonderful projects and videos that you may definitely do like. If you actually do like these projects, these videos, these discussions, these interviews, etc., you know what, simply hit that become a Patreon button on there, and help fund this movement to actually take place, because it takes money, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, it takes a lot of contacting, production to go into these shows here. And you know, little, even if it's for like $1, you could literally donate $1 a month, and trust me, that dollar will go a far way in actually helping this take place. And there's a whole heap of rewards that's actually available. If you want to become a panel member, after show access, producer credits, future shows that we're doing. You know what, definitely just hit that become a patron button and subscribe to it. Trust me, we're just literally going to do things that will make this show 100 times better. All right, you know what, I have to round up the show right now and say thank you for listening in and watching. And if you want to hear more of this information, just hit the subscribe button or go onto the Talk with the Titans Facebook page, and we should be setting up a link on there for us to carry on this conversation off air. So if you want your voice to be heard, subscribe to this channel and go to the Talk with the Titans Facebook page and click onto the link, and you can join us right now. You can talk with all of us, and we can go a little bit more in with the dialogue. So I hope everybody's actually enjoyed themselves on the show today, and I want everybody to come back for a future show, and we can have the amount of fun we've been having so far. So thank you, my audience members. Thank you, my panel members. Thank you for joining in and listening in to the show today. This has been Talk with the Titans, and I have been your host, Kalam L, signing out. Peace.